Welcome to our Wednesday midweek pick me up. Hi Ani, hi Anurag, Marichiana, hi
Good evening.
Tash. Hey, so great that you are here. For anybody who is here the first time, so wonderful that you are here. We have these meetings on Wednesday for networking purposes, talking about topics that are relevant for interpreters, putting the spotlight on it, maybe on your future topic if you have anything to share. And I'm Sarah. I'm a German English interpreter myself and the founder of our wonderful community. And this really lives from your activity, really, because we have the motto of positivity, non-competition, and mutual support. So away from this shark tank. And yeah, I help fellow colleagues to enjoy their freelance life more by working on their mindset and finding better clients. And today we have a fantastic spotlight. And this is Tash Farrell. She's a creative director and brand strategist from the UK. And she was so kind, to join us in our group. So she's not an interpreter, but helping us with our branding and not just logos. Don't worry, it's not just this common thing. It's really exciting, and I have known her for a while now, and it's super, super, super exciting. And today we will therefore not start with our breakout rooms, as you might know. Annie knows it already. If you have time, we do breakout rooms later in the session, but I'm sure it will be such, exciting. Maybe we don't even have time. Let's see and just discuss it here. We are a few people today only. We are all there enough to speak up here. If you have anything to say, please feel free to unmute. Actually, let me ask Tash if she wants questions during her talk or afterwards. Let's see. So let me welcome Tash. Tash, the floor is yours. Let us know more
Hello.
about you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really feel like you all are so smart. All I'm going to translate is how to represent yourself in a brand. But yeah, what you translate is super smart and very clever. So we can definitely, I just have a few slides because I'm a visual learner and I just think it's rather than me just a bobbing head chatting and talking at you, I think it might just be helpful for you to have a few visuals just to grasp some of the stuff I'm saying. So if there is things that come up, then yeah, please raise your hand. I might not be able to see you if I'm sharing my screen, but Sarah, I'm sure you'll be on that, won't
I will
you?
pay attention. Yeah.
You can ask the questions as we go. And yeah, please, I hope you have got lots of questions because I am a bit of a geek when it comes to talking about branding. I really kind of nerd out on it. So you
That's great.
stop me if I go too fast.
Will do. How we nerd out when we talk about interpreting. Nobody outside of our industry understands.
So good. So would you like me to get started?
Yeah, please. Or anybody else, anybody has any questions, feel free. Don't be shy. No? Let's see
No, and
what's
then,
coming, huh?
if we have
Yeah.
time, we can do the networking breakout rooms at the end. But like you say, there's only a few of us, so we're quite a cozy group here. So yeah, we could have a chat about things afterwards. Okay.
Absolutely.
So let me see if I do this right. Let's share the screen. Check I'm sharing the right screen.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna put my specs on. Okay, can you see the first slide?
Yes.
Yeah,
Brand
great.
strategy and
Thumbs up,
positioning.
and you can
Yes.
still hear me and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Is that all
Yeah.
right? Cool. So this is about brand strategy and positioning specifically for interpreters who want to be unforgettable. We're not just going for, oh, I think I know she does this kind of thing. I want you to be unforgettable and how to stand out in a saturated market. Now, everyone probably recognizes this picture here. It's a Banksy, isn't it? And the reason why I've included it is because, I mean, I have a background as a commercial artist, but I've included Banksy here because he is a ninja when it comes to brand positioning. Because in a very crowded, saturated, busy marketplace, he gets people literally are hanging on and waiting and seeking out where the next Banksy is going to show up. And that's what I really want for you when it comes to ideal clients. I want them to know where they're going to be fishing for you, looking for you, and where you're going to be positioning yourself just right at the point that they need you. Okay, so let me just see if I can go to the next.
Exactly what we need, yes.
Open here. Please bear with me. Right. So I already introduced myself. So I'm Tash Farrell, and I'm a creative director and brand strategist. My background, like I said, is in commercial arts and business strategy, and I help freelancers and business owners get clarity on their niche, the USP, and their message, their brand voice. So my clients don't want to just look professional. That's what most people think branding is. Well, I've got a logo, tick that box. They want to be unforgettable. They want to be the first name that comes up in a room when things are being discussed in their niche, and the last one standing when the budget gets reviewed and spent. So today we're going to talk about how to position yourself as unforgettable, even in a saturated market, because actually, believe it or not, a saturated market, which is a complaint I hear from most people. Oh, there's so many people doing the same thing I'm doing. And I imagine maybe for interpreters, some of you will say, oh, everyone does English, German, or other people do French, Spanish like I do. And that's really, really great news. And here's why. Because it shows there's proof, it's your proof for demand. And so if you didn't have a saturated market, I'd be very worried, because you'll be reinventing the wheel. You'd have to educate people that they needed what you're selling. So a saturated market is actually a really good thing. Yeah. And whether you work with government, corporate, or creative clients, your expertise gets you in the room. My job is to make sure you're remembered long after you leave it. So
I love this angle already, that it's positive to have a saturated market. Exactly. It's like it's good if there are many German English interpreters, because then there's demand for it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if it's not saturated, that means that nobody needs it necessarily, and you're trying
Yeah.
to convince them that they do. So, and the reason it matters as well, because what I want to teach you about being remembered and being unforgettable, the reason why it matters is because it makes sure you get repeat work, you get qualified referrals, so you don't get tire kickers, you don't get people saying, oh, well, how much is it? Because you're trying to convince them they need your service. Whereas if you have really qualified referrals, it means people are already sold before they get on a call with you. And it means you can demand and command premium rates for what you do. It's not about being the cheapest person in the room, because I always say to my clients, if you're cheap, no one expects you to be good. And if you're good, no one expects you to be cheap. So that's a really good mantra that even I use when I'm creating a new offer for somebody, for a group of people. First thing I think is, my go-to is, oh, I haven't really tried this out yet. Maybe they're not going to love it. If I keep it really cheap, they will. No, people don't. That's when we're focusing on the transaction. And if you really dial in your brand ethos and your brand voice, you won't have to convince people on the price, because they already are sold on the idea of what you do. And it all comes down to brand strategy and brand positioning. Because if you're positioning yourself in a place where you've got to convince people, whenever I hear people saying, oh, people don't value the service, because I work with all kinds of people. I've got a rocket scientist who's a client of mine because he needs investment in some of his projects. I also have lawyers who, actually, believe it or not, even when they get to be senior partners, they have to go out and bring in their own business. They have to bring in cases. You think that, they're on a salary. Oh my goodness, why would they need to go seeking? But they do. They have to do networking and they have to bring business in. So everywhere you have to be in a room, whether it's like a room like this, or when the room is even bigger and you're at a trade show, let's say, or you're at a conference or a seminar, that means your brand has to speak louder and speak for you when you're not in the room. so that you have to say something that you're really consistent. Just keep repeating. So this leads me quite nicely to one of my favorite terms, and this was from, I don't know if you've heard of Aristotle, another super smart person, okay, back in the Greek days. His concept was, or philosophy, was telos, and it refers to keeping the end in mind, the purpose or goal that something inherently strives towards. It means purpose or ultimate aim. So before we dive into brand tactics, just ask yourself, what do I ultimately want my business to be? What do I want to be known for? What do I want clients to say about me when I'm not in the room? And without a clear telos, your brand becomes literally just a logo. With one telos in mind, like with your end goal in mind, your brand becomes your leverage. Okay, so I know it's kind of almost like I want you to think of like if you were to have the end goal in mind and then reverse engineer it, and it takes you back to where you want to start. I'm going to just take you to the next slide. Okay, and this is another part of keeping the end in mind. I like you to start with your client's objection, because it will become your brand message. And the reason why I've got an elephant here is I always say to my clients, what is the biggest objection? What is the elephant in the room that you really don't want them to bring up? And you think, that's going to be super awkward if they mention that. 100% every time when it comes to branding, that's the part that you need to begin with and you need to lead with in your brand message. So if they say, we can just use AI for the interpreting or the translation, or we already have someone, or we don't need a specialist, this isn't where you shy away. This is where your brand steps in. You lead with that objection and show them and why it's a misunderstanding and why you are the solution. And that's your brand positioning there. And this is really the gold point. So, you know, when I mentioned about my my rocket scientist client, he went to he had to run a seminar, like a presentation, and he had all these elaborate pie charts and very complicated screens with information on. His audience were also super smart people. They were also rocket scientists and nuclear scientists. So I said to him, you're going to struggle keeping people awake here. What do you want them to leave remembering about you? And he said, oh, I don't know really. I want them just to understand why I need the investment. And I said, okay, what's their biggest objection when they're coming to spend that money or give you the investment? And his answer was, well, they're concerned that money is going to get wasted and spent in the wrong places. And I said to him, right, you are going to say that phrase every 3 slides until they are singing it along with you. So every 3 slides, so I let him keep his pie charts and his graphs and everything. And I said to him, and then you say, and this is another example of why it's really important that money is spent in the right places and not wasted. And that's exactly what I do. And then 3 slides later, he says, and here's another example of why it's so important that money isn't wasted and it's spent in the right places. So one, it keeps his audience engaged and interested because they feel like, I totally remember. It's like learning the chorus, you know? So they've remembered it, but also after the seminar, when they're in another meeting that maybe my client isn't party to, isn't included in, and somebody says, well, we just need to make sure that money isn't wasted and it's spent in the right places. Ping, the people who went to his seminar say, I know a guy. They won't remember his role, because a lot of people say, well, I'm just going to say what my role is, what my job is. But because he literally has meetings in the White House, not with Trump, but he does have meetings in the White House. And it's not Elon Musk either, but he is a rocket scientist. But everyone else he works with are also rocket scientists. So he can't have his name and say his job title. There's no differentiator. And so I said to him, if we were going to send you a letter to the White House, would we put your name and then rocket scientist underneath? He said, no. I said, right, they need to. So we came up with a new kind of footer for his, I mean, he's a British guy. And he said, oh, my colleagues, the Americans, they wouldn't like that. And I said, fine, just tell them it's a British thing. And then they'll love it. So there's always a route, like a workaround, no matter what or how dry the subject is. But I definitely, your material and your content for getting people to understand and remember you is to lead with the elephant in the room. Okay, so if you leave with nothing else today, please remember that. And then whatever the objection is in any sales meetings you have, you can use that moving forward for your next set of meetings. Okay, so I probably dwelled on that quite a lot, but it is super.
That's very good, because it's about the price often, right? And then, yeah, just lead with the elephant in the room. And then the mantra you had earlier, okay, if you want a cheaper interpreter, then you might have to, accept that the quality will be less as well.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
even when you say, oh, I didn't realize this wasn't so valuable to you. This isn't a
Oh,
priority.
yeah, that's good.
When
Yeah.
people hear that, they think, no, it is a priority. Right. Well, that's why you want somebody who really understands the whole process and wants to make sure that your clients understand it too. So then not only have you given them a reason to remember you, but you've also taken on another role. You aren't just the interpreter. You are going to handle the objections for their clients. So then they think, right, this person understands the whole process. It isn't just I come here, I translate, and I go away. That's what the robot does. You guys will do a much more holistic delivery of what your service is. So like you need to own it, which I'm gonna say in a little bit. So I don't want to dwell on that just yet, but yeah. So when I said to you about a saturated market, a common complaint I hear is, oh, the market's saturated. Great. If your field is saturated, that's super good. I noticed there's a couple of people coming in, so you might not have heard me talking about that. Every successful market is saturated. That's proof there's demand. You don't want to be in a space where there's no competition, because that likely means there's no money, because people won't pay for things that don't cause them a pain problem that they need. They're not going to be Googling it, I guess. We all love to go and Google stuff when we're looking for a solution, or we go on YouTube to go and find a solution. Excuse me, a solution. Excuse me. My husband even watched a full 10 minutes of how to fit a water pump, a shower pump. And of course it burnt out within days. And the plumber who came, he said, who fitted this for you? And I said, oh, my husband. And he said, is he a plumber? And I said, no, he's a tennis coach. And he said, right. He said, this looks like it's been installed by a tennis coach. And I said, well, he did watch a full 15 minutes on YouTube. I can't believe he did it wrong. But, this is where you can almost understand why so many people, even your clients, will say, oh, well, I'll just go on YouTube, or I'll just go on Google Translate and I'll get it done. You can have fun with them and say, yes, absolutely you can. But can you guarantee it's going to say everything that you hope it's going to say? That's when you kind of, that element of doubt. So my parents lived in the Middle East for 30 years. My father was in construction. And one of the sites they went to, the names on the doors, none of them actually said that they were director or manager of whatever they were. It was written in Arabic, and it looked pretty and looked the business. It might as well have said toilet cleaner or janitor, So there's lots of room for mispronunciation and mistranslation, and I would definitely be leading with that if I was a interpreter. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cough and I'm just...
Yeah, please drink. Yeah. We are voice workers, we understand.
Yes, you're always speaking. Yes, that's your money, your voice. Yeah. So your job is not to eliminate competitors, it's to differentiate from them. And that's where brand positioning comes in, because no one else has your exact lens, your exact values, your experience, or your voice. And when I'm talking voice, I'm not talking about my croaky voice here. I'm talking about your brand voice, like the way you approach things. You just need to help make it obvious for them so that you're the obvious go-to. You're the only person that they think of when somebody's needing your service. Okay, let me just... Okay, this is what I was going to ask you before. So what are you actually selling? Because some interpreters and designers like me, or strategists like me, they will sell the tool. How many features it has. So your tool, obviously, is your language skills. But when you lead with that, and we have already talked about brand positioning and making you memorable, the tough truth is most freelancers market the tool they use, and clients don't care about tools, they care about results. You're not selling, I speak 3 languages, you're selling, you'll never worry about miscommunication in that high stakes meeting ever again. You'll look more professional because nothing gets lost in translation. You can focus on doing your job while I ensure your words land exactly as intended. You see the difference? Wouldn't matter how many languages you speak. When you lead with those kind of phrases, you've already got them. They're like, take my money.
Yeah, and in the communication, like what the client needs, not like it's about me now, it's about you, dear client. Yeah.
Absolutely. And in fact, you've brought up a really good point there, Sarah. The other part is we have to remember not that the client is always right. Yes, that obviously does help. If they're paying you, you want them to be right. But you do have to listen to what their needs are. And even if you've decided you want to try out, not a new language necessarily, but a new idea on them, you've got to put them in the seat of what it's going to be received like. You can't think, this suits me better if I only work these hours and these hours. If your main customer needs different hours, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if anyone's got headphones on. I'm trying not to cough in your ear.
Yeah, all good now. You need to get to some water maybe or something, or you have
I've
some.
got some water here. I'm so sorry.
Oh, good. No, we know.
I had to sleep in a separate room last night because I was keeping my husband awake by coughing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I've covered that. Oh yes. So you are the brand. If you're a solopreneur or a freelancer, you are the brand. Your brand isn't just logos or websites. It's how people feel about you. It's your communication style, your presence in a room, your follow-up, what others say about you when you are not there. You're not just being hired to interpret. You're being hired to represent your own and your client's brand. Your brand isn't optional. It's your edge. It's your differentiator, like I said, but it's also the memory tool that you leave them with. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was hoping I was going to get all the way through this without coughing.
Don't worry, don't worry. Yeah. If you need to get a sweet maybe or something, just don't worry. We can take a 5-minute break or do breakout rooms in between, if you need a break.
Have another guzzle and
Don't
then
worry.
2 more slides to go, and then I will leave you.
Yeah.
So sorry. Okay, so in my intake form, for some of my offers, I ask clients, if I had a magic wand and could change one thing in your business, what would that be? And what happens in their answers is, one, I understand what they're struggling with, and it helps me adapt my offer to what they really would love to see. So their answer helps me understand my client a little bit more, and it helps me refine my service and my offer even more so. Now, I want you to consider that for yourself. What would your magic wand result be if we were to work together, for example? What do you wish you had in your business? And then flip it. What would your clients say if I asked them what they wish you could deliver magically for them? And that's where your brand message needs to live and hang out all the time. Okay? Because it almost puts that question, if you had a magic wand, what would that look like in your business? It's a very different energy to it than if you ask people, what are you struggling with in your business? If people don't know you very well, they might not want to share honestly with you. They might be a bit defensive about that, or you could offend them. They might say, I haven't got any problems in my business, thank you. Whereas if you say, what would you love, if you had a magic wand, what would that look like in your business? The critical part of their brain is sort of bypassed, and they then start to think, wow, I'd love this and I'd love that. So 2 exercises. Do that for yourself. What would it look like in your business if you had a magic wand? And then ask one of your tame clients, one of your friendly clients, ask them, try it out and say, what would you love to, what would it look like in your business? And it is amazing what comes up, because people are super creative when their critical brain has been bypassed and switched off. And quite often, even because I used to have an art gallery, and I'd have people coming in a lot of the time and ask me, what do you sell? And I jokingly said, I'm going to put a sign up saying we sell this and this and this. And then I thought, actually, that's a great idea. That's totally what I'm going to do. So I put up, we sell artwork, we sell clocks, we sell tableware. And I did, I put all those things up on this sign. And it made such a difference. People stopped asking me, what do you sell?
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Tash, do you think it would be a great time to take a 5-minute, also not break, but for the breakout rooms, maybe I can put people into breakout rooms if you guys are also interested to think about this question, like what would you
Yeah.
change about your business if you had a magic wand and your client, like these 2 questions for like maybe 7 minutes, I don't know, to just make sure we have enough time afterwards. And then, yeah, shall we do this? Okay. If nobody else rejects either objects, let me prepare the breakout rooms. Is it clear what question you should think about and communicate about with
Could
your
you
breakout
please
room partner?
name the question? I want to reconfirm that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Tash, you want to repeat like what if you had a magic wand, I think?
If you had a magic wand, what would that look like in your business?
All right, okay, I'm creating the breakout rooms. Please allow for like a few seconds for me to assort you. If you're alone in the room, I will make sure you are not, but it might take a few seconds, or if the other person takes a little while. We are all in different countries, so it might take a little bit longer for some Wi-Fi connections. So, but okay, I create them now. So 7 minutes, you don't need to do anything. I will write 2 minutes left, and then I will close the rooms and you come here automatically, all right? Okay. Enjoy. All right, welcome back from the breakout rooms. I hope you all had an idea of what you would do with a magic wand. Anybody who would like to share what you would do if you had a magic wand for your business, or what you would say to your client? Come, any volunteers? I'm more relaxed now. Please.
We were organizing how beautiful it'd be, because I met another OPI interpreter, you know, and when you ask for race, then nobody listened to you. And so how amazing it would be if we can do like a strike together.
Oh, nice. Yeah, go on strike. Yes, yes.
Yeah, but the problem, like if you're working from home, there's no possibility to know each other. That's so, you know, it's kind of impossible to do, to know all the interpreters.
To meet other OPIs, you mean
Yeah,
other over the phone interpreters.
it's hard.
Mhm. Yeah, and then fight for the interests and rights.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, good. Yeah, right. Race is always good. Yes, yes. Anybody else who would like to share? Maybe one more, and then Tash, of course, you can also and take over anytime you like again. Just that might be nice. Enzo would start an interpreting agency that consistently gets a minimum of 10 days booked per month. Nice. Very specific. This is already like setting goals based on the SMART system here. Specific, measurable, something else, something else. Very good, Enzo.
Great telos there, Enzo. Well
Oh,
done.
tell us,
Love
yes.
that.
Cool. Okay, thank you for sharing, guys. Yeah, Tash, please, of course.
Okay, well, I'm going to
floor is
try.
yours.
I'm going to try and whiz through the rest of it without coughing. I'm going to see how I get on. Sorry about.
Oh, I hope you're getting better soon. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Thanks for joining today, nevertheless.
Okay, see the slide. So this was the one. So hopefully, what we've just been talking about, we just kind of changed the perspective a bit of how we were describing it, but also bypassing the critical brain, which was the whole purpose of it. And like I did share with Mary, can you tell me how to say your name again, please?
Maria Chiara.
Maria Chiara, sorry. I've got a very simple name and yours is so beautiful. But when I was saying to Maria Chiara was that, you know, it's about bypassing the critical part of your brain. And when you go into the creative brain, you can play with it, and you don't, nobody in your brain or in the room can call BS on it and say, oh, well, that would never happen. Because we're just talking about magic fantasy land. And I always find it, I start it with all my clients to see what's the bottom line, what they're really looking to do. So thank you for playing along. Okay. Okay, has that shown you the next? Yeah, this is another kind of exercise, but would you buy from you? And here's why I'm asking. This is like, it's the mirror test. So would you pay for your own service? Would your brand convince you? If you saw your own Instagram bio or pitch email or website, would you believe it could help someone just like you? Because if you wouldn't invest in yourself, why would you expect others to? And this is why I always ask, what motivates you to invest? What stops you investing? Even when the currency is just an email address, people are still really, they have to be convinced and love the idea. And they can't just think, oh, yes, I want that. They have to, it doesn't matter what the currency is or what the transaction is, you have to still sell them and motivate them to get over, even if it's free, to get over the hump of committing and saying, yes, I want in. And it's rarely just price or features. It's trust, confidence, and clear outcomes. Remember, like I said to you about, we're not selling language skills. We're selling everything it brings. And that's what your clients need to feel as well. have so many different windows here. So this is just a bit of a recap so we can pull it all together. If you want your brand to stand out, you need to know your telos. Start with the end in mind. You want to lead with objections, remember the elephant in the room, and show you understand and you have the solution. In fact, you are the solution. You sell results, not tools. You embrace the competition. It means there's demand. So whenever you see a competitor or you meet a competitor, think, yes, brilliant, more evidence and proof that we're needed in this marketplace. So we're loving competition now because we're not in compare and despair. We're just thinking, great, more proof that this is required, because people will always need someone else to explain what you're saying to somebody in a different language. I definitely do. We are not linguists in my family. I have 4 sons and none of us are very good at anything other than English. So that's probably on me. So do the mirror test. Would you buy from you? And all of this is brand strategy and positioning in action. And this is what builds an unforgettable and referable business. Let me just... Okay, number slide is that 11? Yes. This is something, visibility overview. Okay, so now if you're thinking, this all sounds great, Tash, but I don't know where to start, I've got something for you. I'm offering a limited number of complimentary visibility overviews. This is where I personally, just in 30 minutes, I personally review your current visibility and messaging. That might just be a headline on your bio, on your LinkedIn profile. Okay, we don't have to have elaborate websites here. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just going to go along with you on a Zoom call. We're just going to have a conversation and I'm going to have a look through, one, what your business really would look like if you had a magic wand. And I'm just going to identify your brand strengths and your blind spots. This isn't me checking your homework. This is me showing you where you are leaving money on the table quite often and how you're currently showing up and how you could be more referable. It's not a sales pitch, it's a high value insight session, and it will show you exactly what's working and what's not. So if you're interested, you can grab my details at the end or DM me, however you want to do it, or tell Sarah that...
I will share the link maybe also here in the
yes,
chat.
I will.
You can send it to me, I will share it, or you can share it in the
great.
chat and send it, and I will copy it and also share it in tomorrow's email when I send out the recording.
Oh, thank you so
everyone.
much. And in fact, there is one more thing that I'm doing. I mean, the visibility audits, they're completely free, but just for your group. I normally, you can even look on my website, it's normally a chargeable thing I do, but it's a gift for you listening to me today and letting me come and geek out with you and talk about branding. And then I have, so here we go. So I've put claim 1 of 10 spots for the visibility audit. And like I said, so that's the link there, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, can you copy it somehow? Or
I'll copy it
yeah.
in the chat, maybe. I'll do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the other thing I have is that I work with people in a couple of ways. So if I can just tell you about that, in case any of you think this was super helpful, but I'd actually need more targeted support, I do one-to-one. But I'm actually in the middle of just launching and opening the doors for the beta round for my group strategy membership. It's called the Impact Accelerator, and it starts mid-September. It's a 90-day sprint where we meet weekly to dial in your brand message and ensure you move the needle in your business and get aligned clients. And there's bonuses available for members joining this month, because like I say, it's starting in September, as well as the price goes up after the first beta round. I can also share a link for that if that's helpful. And then I have a free group where you can go along. It's a bit like Sarah's group, but probably not as many interpreters. But there are other business owners and freelancers and coaches and consultants in my group. So I'll give the link for that. So before I sort of tie everything up, the difference between my one-to-one and the group, the beta round, is a bit like between a gym membership where you have group classes. So you get more results than you do if you work on your own. And then the one-to-one is a bit like the personal trainer. So you get more results than you did if you wanted my undivided attention. So that is, I just want to check I've said, thank you so much for listening to me today, and I'm sorry I've struggled speaking some of it, but and letting me do something I love doing is talking about branding and helping other people tune in to what they love doing and get more clients from it. It's actually my greatest inspiration for my business. I just love that. So if you want to make sure that your expertise gets you in the room and your brand makes sure you're remembered long after you leave, then hopefully you got some takeaways from my chit chat with you today. And if you want to continue the conversation and stop chasing empty leads and spend more time getting paid, then get in touch and I will give the links in the chat, if that's all right. Is that okay, Sarah?
Sounds great. Let me just give you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, so amazing, so helpful. Well, guys, this is now your chance for questions, and I can already see one in the chat. I will read it out by Anurag. Thank you very much. For people with very few years experience, fresh graduate, how could they convince clients that they should go with their business? Any suggestions, please?
Well, listening to the key word there that's probably getting in your way is convince people. When you're in convincing energy, I don't know about you, but I don't tend to buy things from people if I feel they're convincing me, because I kind of sense that they don't believe it either. Whereas if you give the energy of, I think I sometimes say to clients, if you give the energy with or without you, like, I'm going to go ahead and do this in my business, whether you sign up with me or not. People then immediately get a bit of FOMO, a fear of missing out, don't they? Whereas if you're convincing them, you're using the objection in the room against yourself. Whereas what I want you to do is use it as your fuel to move forward. So when you hear an objection, you think, brilliant, I'm going to solve for that. You have very creative brains. When you think, our brains are like computers. So if you put in a question like that, if I had a magic wand, how could I fix that objection? You will be amazed what your brain sorts through all the files in your brain. Your brain will give you some answers there. So I wouldn't be leading with trying to convince anyone, because one, it could be, it is a brand positioning issue as well. You might be trying to sell to the wrong room, but you did say if there's other competitors, how do they pick you and not the others? Then what we know is a saturated market is a successful market because people are spending money there. So I would stop using the objection against yourself and use it as fuel to think, excellent, I'm going to solve that.
Very good. Yes. Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Anurag, yeah. Also, I think yes, but maybe Anurag.
Yes, really, you have shared amazing suggestions. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks for daring to ask. Also, people, please dare to ask. Yeah. And in the meantime, maybe Tash, if you want to grab the link, I tried to type it, but I don't know, maybe I typed something wrong, but I cannot find it. The page doesn't work on my end. If you want to.
I've done the.
There it is.
The unlock is for the.
Now it works. Somehow I must have spelled something wrong. It works. Yeah.
Does it work? Okay.
Yeah.
And then I just have the you can just go and have a look at this, the Impact Accelerator, which is the group program. Let me just grab, I'm just grabbing it now. Sorry, bear with me. And then I'll add that in and you tell me if it works.
Will do.
I've got so many tabs open, I couldn't find my Zoom screen. Here we go.
Where are we, guys?
Yeah. Does that work?
I'm clicking on it. 1 second. Yes, it works. Perfect. Yeah.
Oh.
I will also copy these and I will share them also in the recording for
Oh,
everyone.
and then if I just give you the group, sorry, I'll come off. I'm just muttering to myself here. I'll take
the Facebook group, yes. And anybody, also Judy, Maria, Chiara, Enzo, Anurag again, Amani, Lily from Thailand. Woo, it's so late at your end. So great you're joining. Think about any questions if you like. Tash is here now. You can pick her brain. This is your opportunity. We have a couple of minutes left if you like. Of course, I don't want to hold you longer than, needed either, but, now's your chance. Facebook group here. Let me copy it as well. Copy all the links, guys. Even for later, just in case.
And can I just say before we all go, thank you for your time and patience with me coughing and spluttering through it. But yeah, it was lovely to come along to your lovely group and meet some of you very clever people who speak all these languages. Because for me, like if I was a brand, well, I am a brand strategist, but if I had languages as well, my goodness, I would just be pulling differentiators out of my hat one after the other. So just because there's competition, don't underestimate just how valuable what you do is. It's incredible. So you open a world for people that they can't access because they don't speak the language of the person they want to. So I would be looking into places where you could really be the magic wand for potential clients in certain niches that you wouldn't. I mean, I even noticed, so I said my husband, he's not a tennis coach anymore, but he was a tennis coach for 25 years. And they even have some of the pros when they go to Wimbledon, they have interpreters who have to come for the conferences. And those interpreters they only do sports. So
Great. It'd be great to be at Wimbledon. And
Sarah asked me to come and chat to you all, and it was so interesting because I'd never really come across anyone talking about interpreters until I'd met Sarah, and then suddenly my reticular nerve is aware of it, and it starts cropping up, and that's why I think once you start with the end in mind, you will start noticing steps towards it. It's just kind of,
it's amazing. I love this mindset or mind shift actually, like what we fear as a being like, a negative, like no, we can use it as a fuel. Exactly, this is great. Like exactly, we open worlds to our clients. They make more business because they can offer their services to more people because more people understand what they're doing.
yeah.
Absolutely. I have actually one last question, maybe. Could you repeat what's telos again? I want to remember this. Telos.
It's Aristotle's philosophy,
Yeah.
and it's the inherent end in mind. So start with the end in mind. Basically, that's what his philosophy was. And it's a bit like a goal, I suppose. But when you start with the end in mind, you're kind of almost halfway there because you already know what the outcome. You know, when they say, well, you failed to plan, you plan to fail. But when you keep the end in mind, whether it's a podcast or a meeting, if you're really clear what you want the outcome to be, what the end in mind is to be, you can navigate difficult parts of that conversation or difficult parts of where your business is going or a journey. If you've got your eyes on the prize, you kind of don't get disheartened and stop and think, oh, let's forget it, I'm going to go back home. You don't, do you? Because you think we're making this journey there and there might be, I don't know, a storm, and you have to, pivot and move around this storm. or obstacle or whatever it is. So when you've got the end in mind, you manage to get back on track. It just kind of how it works.
Great. Yes, absolutely. And now we have a last question in the chat as well. Thanks, Lily, for sharing. Maybe we have time for this one last minute. Yeah, let's try. But you can also take your time, Tash, to think about it, of course. Should customer testimonials be used in brand communication? What are the advantages and disadvantages to consider?
Okay, so the testimonials are normally going to be positive, but when you're saying about in brand communication, do you mean visuals, or do you mean when you're speaking to a potential client? Can I just understand? Oh, in general. Okay, so it's always helpful to have testimonials because social proof, and humans naturally gather where other humans are. So if somebody else has invested in something, we feel more compelled to also invest. Whereas if they haven't got any social proof and nobody else has bought something, I'm not saying that, if you're a startup and you haven't got testimonials yet, there is also a route around that, because you can offer part of a service, not like the whole farm, not the whole thing, but you could do part of a service for some testimonials or some feedback that you can use. So you can always get some form of testimonials. With my clients, some of my clients, I get them referred, I get them promoted. So I'm almost their secret weapon. So when it comes to testimonials, I can't be sharing their identity because the way I work with clients is confidential. So I literally put what they're, in fact, on my website, I've put nuclear scientist. I haven't put rocket scientist, just because I don't want to blow his cover. And I've put his initials. And then one of my other clients, I thought it might blow her cover. So I switched her initials round and still put, because the relevant part is the position of the person or the role they were in. So I help paralegals get to the next step in their career, and help them with interview practice, that sort of thing. So I definitely think testimonials are useful, but I don't think they're the be all and end all. I would want more things dialed in that are more important, because I think sometimes we can get stuck in thinking, well, I haven't got any testimonials, or I haven't got my website sorted, or I haven't got my logo sorted yet. The other things of how you describe what you do and make yourself easily referable in simple terms is far more a better use of your time, let's say, and money. That's kind of, does that? I think people are now thinking, oh my God, she's on another rant now, so apologies.
No, very helpful, I think. Yeah, great. Thank you. Well, and I think with this, we can be excited again about, I think was, wait a second, I wanted to.
Oh my God!
It was so amazing.
Oh my God!
Oh, really, I'm really blown away. Really, so helpful. I will definitely look at some of my LinkedIn sections now and how I communicate there. Like in the About section, for example, you can now go and check it out, whether you want to tweak anything after today. And yeah, with that, thank you so much, Tash. It was really amazing, super helpful.
So
I have all
much.
the
And
links.
feel free to book in a session with me, and I can just have a look at your bio, or your headline, or whatever you're using, because yeah, as you can tell, it's something I love to do. So it'd be
Yes,
a
absolutely.
gift to do.
That came across. I hope you guys, you copied the links, if not last seconds to do so, and I will also share them tomorrow in tomorrow's email. I will send out the recording. And with that, have a great rest of your evening and week, and see you all again next week, next Wednesday. Bye-bye.